Welcome back, YouTubers, to another WWE vlog in HD with me, Mr. Parkin, and this guy sitting next to me. It's the Right and Honourable NJ.
What's up?
What's up, NJ? What's up to you guys out there? We are the British Fist, of course.
Gotcha.
Coming at you today with our Raw review, but before we get on to that, make sure you guys subscribe up above, like this video, and put your comments on the show down below.
Make sure you contact us in the links in the description box below.
Yeah, what a shocker we had in store for us tonight, didn't we, NJ? Especially after that awesome pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Oh my god, shall we just go straight into the opener, because I'm kind of psyched at the moment, to be honest.
Same here.
Oh, right, so we open up the show, as we all found out from sources such as NoDQ.com, blah, 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 with Mr. McMahon, and he came out with his good old honourable black-eyed friend, John Laurinaitis, and basically he comes out and says, we'll crown a new WWE champion tonight, and I'm thinking to myself, not much continuation from that Punk angle that they had going for them at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, really, is there?
No, there were, but at the same time, Punk ran away,
Yeah.
so it's kind of if he appeared on the show, maybe they could continue with it. As he weren't there, maybe not. So I guess that made sense there.
Yep. So basically, he makes he's crowning a new WWE championship, a vacant WWE championship. He's basically having 8 men go up against each other in elimination matches, which I kind of liked because I like the idea of a tournament, and I like the idea that the whole show was going to be focused on the WWE Championship. For me, it gives the title a little bit of meaning. And of course, also, you know, the problem here is I don't think it continued too much from last night. I mean, we had this huge main event, brilliant main event, and all of a sudden I'm thinking to myself, you don't seem really to be carrying on from it that well. I really expected more, in my opinion, or something different.
Well, again, they couldn't, in my eyes, from what I saw, they couldn't have carried on. Punk's gone. Cena, they did mention that Cena's going to get punished later.
Yeah, right.
Sadly not.
Yeah. To be honest, my main issue with this was, isn't Del Rio your #1 contender? Hasn't he just won Money in the Bank? Why are you making a tournament with him in it when he's the fucking #1 contender? Surely that should make him the champion. Have you forgotten that in your continuity errors there, WWE? But I'm prepared to look past it because there's a tournament for the WWE Championship. So.
And if they were to give it to Del Rio, I guess he would have had more security on his championship.
Well, basically, he'd have Money in the Bank, so we could cash it in. He'd have the #1 contendership, so he'd be the #1 contender to his own title. So basically, he'd be void of any challengers. Anyway, what did you think of this opening segment overall?
Again, it was exciting. We had a great pay-per-view, and Vince to come out and announce this. Promises there's going to be surprises, historic thing. I was like, oh yeah, just what we needed after a good pay-per-view.
Yeah, it did make sense, Vince coming out, especially with the CM Punk angle, and you know what's been involving him being the biggest storyline of the pay-per-view, despite it being a Money in the Bank pay-per-view. But like you said, he basically tries to set up a historic night, and believe me, he did in this main event. But we'll go on to all that after this. Make sure my tie is up there, you know? Just make sure your tie is and top button's done up, of course, NJ. Welcome back to British Fist Tea Time segment. Of course, we always do this with Divas match because we love a good Divas match, don't we? Gorgeous women going at it in the middle of that wrestling ring.
Very much so.
Yes, I am Lord Parkin, as you guys know out there. What's it, guys? That is a slang term I just used. Like those American people. And this guy sitting next to me is the Right and Honourable NJ.
What the?
Oh, nice one, NJ. You used the slang thing. Anyway, this Divas match was 7-on-7 Divas action, and my gosh, were they fit. Oh, I said fit.
Very nicely shaped.
Yes, very nicely shaped, and they did all of those moves inside the ring, of course, because they're fantastic athletes and they're fantastic knocks.
And Beth Phoenix.
Well, she's a very big girl, isn't she?
Pure awesome.
I would do one to her right up the behind.
Stop her backside.
So we start off the tournament matches with none other than Alex Riley versus The Miz, a rivalry which has been brewing for a while. I was kind of surprised to see this as the opener, but what did you think of this match?
The thing I'll say about this, in the past we've seen Alex Riley come over The Miz. We've seen Alex Riley
dominate Miz, basically.
Dominate Miz and win pinfalls. So I was like, gosh, now sooner or later Miz is going to show why he is the next champion. So he's going to get the windfall over Alex Riley. And
he won the match, of course. I think he's the right guy to win this just because he's got more main event credibility than A-Ryan. It would just be a bit soon for A-Ryan to be getting very far in this very far in this tournament, to be honest. So I think, in my opinion, Miz was the right guy to win. Would you say?
In this case, yes, it was.
Yeah, it was. I expected a little bit more from this match, but I don't know. Should we just move on to the next match? Oh, but before we go on to the next match, we had a John Morrison video package. I'm guessing that means he'll return sometime soon, which means I'm going to be returning back to my John Morrison Mark self sometime soon.
That's very true. And what we did miss last night at Money in the Bank was there was a video package of SummerSlam. So I'm guessing he's going to come back for that pay-per-view.
Yeah. And of course, the next first round match we have in this tournament is R-Truth. The Truth shall set you free versus Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger.
We have
of course.
R-Truth. What's up? Not anymore.
No,
versus
Jack Swagger. But anyway, basically, this is a heel versus heel match, which for me doesn't really make much sense. And this kind of escalated into the match because the match itself wasn't that good, in my opinion. R-Truth wins. That's pretty much all we need to know, really, isn't it?
It was pretty much predictable because Jack Swagger is still not there, climbing up there. He's trying, but he's not going to make it. So it's obvious that R-Truth was going to win.
Jack Swagger at the moment is a huge joke. So I expected R-Truth to win this. Just judging by both their pushes, R-Truth has had more of a push than Jack Swagger lately. So
it's true.
And then we move on to our next match, which is Kofi Kingston versus Alberto Del Rio. And because he won more Money in the Bank, Alberto Del Rio gets some good old-fashioned promo time, which is exactly what he needs now. He's just won the Raw Money in the Bank, in my opinion.
And surprise, surprise, Ricardo Rodriguez is back!
One of the biggest surprises of the night. But yeah, I'm glad that Del Rio got some promo time, just so he can express himself as the Money in the Bank winner. So it kind of sets him up for his eventual cash-in at some point, I guess, even though, in my opinion, he could really cash it in whenever he wants, because he's already kind of built up for it. But, wow, I did not expect Alberto Del Rio to lose this match. I thought it was quite a good match. I just really didn't expect... I expected Del Rio to win this easily, but Kofi Kingston wins. I'm surprised.
But when I saw the match, I thought, it's going to be Kofi. As much people say, Alberto's got it, I said, no. One, because he's already in Money in the Bank.
No point in having him win it or anything, is there?
So Kofi Kingston winning made perfect sense.
Yeah, and so Del Rio loses that. It just surprised the hell out of me because I thought he might win this, but I suppose it wouldn't have made sense if he did. So I guess for me big slap on the head. The next match we got was Rey Mysterio versus Dolph Ziggler, our US champion, of course. In my opinion, another okay match. I know these two can put on a good match because, well, I think they do personally. And Rey Mysterio wins. It's pretty simple, isn't it? It was an okay match. Ray wins. Kind of expected that. I don't really expect to see Dolph Ziggler up there anytime soon.
Nope.
Is that what you're going to say?
I'm just trying to get past this Ray thing because I just...
Well, we've got another 2 matches with Ray in at the moment, so you're going to have to put up with it. The next match we had was Kofi Kingston. Oh, the semi-finals. We're getting onto the semi-finals now. We're getting through these damn quick. It was Kofi Kingston versus The Miz. And once again, I kind of expected The Miz to win this. Just because it's Kofi Kingston, I don't really expect him to be in the final. And Miz did win it, even though he has an injured knee.
Yeah, I don't think he played off as well as he could have done. It's just that the wrestlers that he was facing, they knew that he was injured there, so they kept going for it.
They did play on his knee injury, didn't they? Which is quite... I like that. That's realism.
That is true, yes, indeed.
And Miz wins with a skull-crushing finale, and what more can we really say? Okay match again. One thing I didn't like about these matches, though, is you have... 6 or 7 matches on Raw. We'll get to that reason why later. But to me, they were all just average matches, which kind of doesn't really add too much credibility to your WWE Championship, in my opinion. They're all just average Raw matches, weren't they?
Some of them actually went for good length.
Yeah.
I'll give them, like the Alberto and Kofi went on for a good length. So I guess some of them were okay, but majority of them, they weren't the best length at all.
Yep. And then the second semi-final match we have was Rey Mysterio versus R-Truth. And I did like this match. I thought this was a very good match. Rey Mysterio was involved in 2 good matches, in my opinion, in this. Another semi-final match, and once again, as expected, Rey Mysterio wins. I kind of expected him to win this just because Miz was already through, so I expected the face to go through to the final. And I'm guessing you didn't like that.
No, again, makes sense, heel versus face. But in the night, we've had heel versus heel, unless Swagger's a face.
No, I don't think so.
No, so we've had it before, so we could have had heel in the main event. But anyway, so yeah, Ray's in them.
To be honest, I don't think Jack Swagger can ever go over the crowd with that lisp of his, but anyway, whatever. Then we get to the final match between Rey Mysterio and The Miz.
But before, when Ray was in the ring, already, we have Vince McMahon come out.
Oh, he basically he comes up and says, Rey Mysterio, you're not bigger than the company. I've got more important things to do with here, so gonna have to postpone your match. for next week.
Is that a small joke?
I don't know, mate.
He made fun. I thought there was kind of him dissing his Rey Mysterio a bit. But anyway, moving
this was
on.
This was the main event, wasn't it? Pretty much. Vince McMahon comes out and addresses John Cena, tries to sell the fact that John Cena is being fired.
Right, and then but John Cena eventually comes out, goes on mic, and has this big long rant about how he's not going to do this, how he's not going to do this.
Basically stands up for Shawn Michaels, doesn't he? Brings up the screw job, saying that he doesn't want to be the guy that screwed CM Punk. Then he wants to be able to walk out of his dignity, so he just basically gives him the mic and says, "I'm off."
And Vince goes, "No, you're not going anywhere." And then he mentions that he's basically. He didn't even get to say much.
No, John Cena said a lot of the stuff. But at least it was serious John Cena, so we can take him seriously. And I do prefer him as a serious character, in my opinion.
But John Cena did make one point. If he did leave here, he would have gone directly straight into another show and did exactly what he does in WWE.
Yep. And then what happened in the main event, NJ, which really, really got our attention and was really surprising for us. And I know you love this moment.
Triple H came out!
I thought you were going to say it then. Basically, Triple H comes out. We did not expect this for 1 second. Usually NJ is marking out on screen at the moment. Triple H comes out and says that the board are concerned with the current situation and Vince's decision making. And I was at this point, I was thinking, what the fuck is going on here? Can you stop dancing, NJ? This is a serious point. And basically, Triple H comes out and says that he's filed an injunction against Vince with a vote of no confidence, and the family agrees. So the whole family agrees that he's not doing his job properly.
And Vince McMahon started to get teary because this is really hard for him to hear. But it makes sense because of the years of putting his thoughts, creativity, mind on the line, he was basically losing his job.
Yep. So basically, Triple H says to Vince McMahon, "I'm taking over the day-to-day operations. You're not firing anyone. John Cena is not being fired. And Vince, you are relieved of your duty." So basically, it looks like Vince McMahon is not the owner of WWE anymore, and Triple H has taken over that role. Whether it is real or storyline, we will not know. I still think it's a storyline personally, but I think you're more on the real end.
Well, two sides now. I've had a good think of it. Triple H is meant to take over because he is the one who's going to be taken over because of his...
He's the son-in-law.
That's the way of putting it, yeah. And I don't think it's the time yet because Vince is not dead, as Punk said before.
Punk said, yeah.
So I'm thinking, as he's not dead, there's still going to be some involvement with him. Yeah. But Triple H, while Vince is... Because he's not always going to be on screen. Vince isn't. So I think while he's not, Triple H is going to be there and doing his job.
And this was definitely a shocker. I'll give WWE that. They've given us a couple of shockers in the last couple of days. I did not expect this to happen. To go from that CM Punk angle to now Vince, Triple H taking over the business, it's kind of like, fucking hell. All of that in 2 days. You know, maybe you've blown your wad a little bit too quickly there, but to have that much, you know, excitement in 2 days is just like, whoa! What the fuck? Do you know what I mean? I really didn't know how to react to this. I was just like, what the fuck is going on here?
The thing is, it got us all wondering. Yeah. First, the question was, what was Vince going to say to Cena? Was it going to be fight, or was he going to say something completely different? Like,
I need you!
There's that thought, or on rehiring Punk. There's loads of thoughts. The next thing is this real, fake? And the next question is, what is Triple H going to do next?
And who the hell is going to win that match next week for the title? That's something I'm really wondering. Question. So we definitely got a match there for next week. We heard the crowd chanting, "Thank you, Vince. Thank you, Vince."
He needed that.
He did need that, especially if he is leaving for real. He did need that because he has done a lot for the wrestling business. So Vince McMahon was correct. This is a historic moment, really, if it is indeed real, or even if it's storyline. Just to see Triple H on. If he's going to be on screen acting like this owner, then it would be a historic moment. Generally, passing on the torch to Triple H as the on-screen owner.
Again, it's going to go down in the Raw records as I think it was a good Raw. I say.
Ooh.
I say, to be honest, the matches. Yeah, Vince did hurry the last bit up, but again, we got to see Triple H because we didn't know when we were going to see him next. We were all saying SummerSlam to maybe face Taker, but to see him there and do what he did, awesome.
As an authority figure as well. In my opinion, I didn't like the tournament matches that much. I thought the tournament matches were very boring, and I really wanted to see a champion by the end of the night. But I will say this. I didn't think they continued it well from Money in the Bank too well, in my opinion. You think differently, of course. But the main event was just like, wow, you know, what the fuck is going on here? And that really just, like the pay-per-view, just made the night. You know, although Raw was very boring in the middle, in my opinion, the matches weren't the best. I didn't like the matches too much. The main event itself just made up for it. And I don't really know what to think anymore.
Again, I look at Raw and think, you're starting to make improvements now. You've left Money in the Bank. You're taking a new step forward now. Just keep going with that and keep improving your shows.
I almost want to grade this show in two separate pieces. I want to grade the main event an A star and then the rest of it a C. Because I really don't think it was that good of a Raw, but the main event was just brilliant. So I'm going to stick to that. C for most of the Raw, then an A star for that main event, because that was just Raw. Emotion, that was everything, wasn't it?
There's everything there, but instead of saying C, I'll say it's one, gave us match for next week.
Yeah.
It gave us loads of matches. I know they were short, but it did give us...
even if the main event was postponed, of course. But
that's true, but it did fill up the card. It did fill up the night.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say it's a B+.
And it focused on the WWE Championship, which is what needs to be focused on now, because Vince McMahon, of course, we know is a businessman, and he wants to focus on what is his, which is the WWE Championship. So I guess decent continuation there in a way. I'm sticking to my grade though. C for most of the show, A star for that main event. I have to say that. I don't really know how to grade it, to be honest. But shall we just end it there and ask the YouTubers for their thoughts, MJ?
Let's do it.
Right, so basically you've heard our opinions now. We want to hear your opinions on this whole thing. I'm sure you guys have got a lot to say about it, so make sure you get your thoughts in the comment section below, or alternatively, video responses. MJ, do you have any last words before I get us out of here?
All I'll say is that you've heard our thoughts of Raw, you've seen our grade, and you've heard our thoughts on Triple H, Vince, and
Triple H mark #1.
Of course, yes. So now all I can say is leave your thoughts in the comment section below.
Of course.
And we'll review again soon.
Yes, we definitely will if the WWE continues giving us shockers like this, won't we? Anyway, we'll say this, MJ. Thank you very much for watching. We're the British Fist.
Ka-ching.
And goodbye.